Every afternoon, Margaret walked into her backyard and watered the same patch of earth, though nothing had grown there in years. Her son thought it was just the dementia, until he dug into the soil and found something she had never told him. Margaret had always loved her garden. She used to say it bloomed better when you talked to the plants. But these days, she didn't say much. At 82, her dementia had progressed slowly, like a fog that stole names first, then faces, and finally, whole days. Still, every afternoon, like clockwork, she shuffled outside in her old slippers, watering can in hand, and poured a slow stream over the same empty patch beneath the oak tree. There was a time the garden had been full of color: daffodils, wild iris, even a stubborn patch of lavender that never quite took. "No flowers grow there anymore, Mom," her son, David, would remind her gently. But she'd just smile faintly and reply, "They will." David had moved back in 6 months ago, after she left the stove on twice in a week. Watching her decline was like watching pages tear out of a favorite book. Quiet, irreversible. She didn't remember his birthday anymore. Sometimes she forgot he was her son. But that garden patch, she never missed a day. It bothered him. Why that spot? Why the persistence? One afternoon, after putting her down for a nap, he went outside with a small shovel. The soil was soft, loamy. He expected to find rocks, maybe old roots. But just a few inches in, he struck something. A tin box, rusted but intact. Inside was a bundle of laminated paper and a small, dried rose. A note was taped to the inside of the lid. "For Michael, our daughter's first rose bush. I plant it again every year, in case she ever comes home." David's breath caught. Michael had been her husband, his father, and the daughter, Claire, his older sister, who had passed away in an accident before he was born. She had never spoken of her. The rose bush had been theirs. That spot was where they planted it each year, in memory. That evening, David watched his mother from the kitchen window. She stood quietly under the oak tree, her hand resting on the watering can, like it anchored her to the past. She didn't remember his name. She couldn't recall what year it was, but she remembered that spot. She remembered love, the kind that doesn't need names or dates to exist, the kind rooted in muscle memory and heartbreak, the kind that survives even when memory doesn't. The next day, David planted a new rose bush there, deep pink, just like in the photo he'd found in the tin. He brought his mother out and knelt beside her. "I think it's time she bloomed again," he whispered. Margaret reached out and touched the petals, her eyes wet. Claire always liked pink. It was the first time she had said her daughter's name in 40 years. Sometimes, memory lives not in the mind, but in our hands, in our rituals, in the soil we return to, again and again. Even as the mind fades, love often stays rooted. David kept the rose bush alive after Margaret passed the following spring. Each year, he planted a new one beneath the oak, not because he believed she'd come back, but because he finally understood. Some love is too deep to speak of. It's not loud. It doesn't need reminders. It just keeps blooming, quietly, where we water it most.